Today I'm reading chapter 20 of The Boy Who Sailed the Ocean in an Armchair by Lara Williamson. It's published by Usborne and the ISBN number is 9781409576327. Chapter 20. Sunday evening comes and I'm taking a large black hold-all bag from Kat's hand as she locks the front door of Crops and Bobbers. Humming, she takes out her car keys and flicks the button and then tells me to get in. I feel a bit guilty being paid to carry a bag, I point out. Not a bit of it, says Kat briskly, starting the car. You'll be doing more than that, and it's worth every penny of my £5 English. We whiz through the blustery Eden before parking outside the Green Acres Old People's Home, where Kat jumps out of the car and negotiates her way along the pathway, either side of it overgrown with tangled weeds. There's a jigsaw puzzle of moss on the grey stone of the old Victorian house, and Kat gives me a little salute before ringing the doorbell. A buzzer sounds for us to enter. When we get inside, Kat signs us in and waves to all the staff. Then she beckons me into a large living area with pink floral wallpaper and a giant draping curtain like you'd find on a stage. There's a big bay window at the back and lots of elderly people sitting in armchairs. "Haircuts 100, shouts Kat, and I'm not talking about the 80s pop group, but the average age of everyone here." There is tittering and nodding of heads. "And don't all hurry to get your purses because it's on the house as usual." I'm not sure anyone could rush to get their purses because there actually are all about 100, even if Kat was just joking. Kat pulls a red velvet armchair up to the window and sets up a small mirror on the table with wheels and asks for her first willing victim. Then she points out an elderly lady and says she doesn't want to show favouritism, but if no one else minds, she'll start here with this beautiful woman. As instructed by Kat, I try to entertain those waiting, but all I can think to do is to talk, and I've never been any good at that. An old man in the corner tells me about the war and his memories of it, and a woman tells me about her bloated belly, which I love, not because she has a bloated belly, but because I can help her think of new ways to make it better. I talk about how the herb peppermint might help, and I tell her about my winning garden design. I talk about the magic of paper cranes and show them all the bracelet with the butterfly. All the time, the queue for Kat gets shorter, and there's an Everest of silver hair on some newspaper she's laid on the floor. After an hour and a half, I realise I've talked non-stop. "Until next time, Nana," says Kat, kissing the first lady whose hair she cut. "Don't tell anyone else, but you're my favourite customer." Kat winks. Back in the car, I tell Kat how much I enjoyed it. "And your Nana was lovely. I didn't realise she lived there." Kat turns the steering wheel. "I'm glad you liked it so much. I like going there too, and especially seeing Nana. Everyone is so much fun, and they've got fascinating stories to tell if you take the time to talk to them." I'm not good at talking. "It looked like you were doing a pretty good job to me," says Kat, swinging the car left at a junction. I catch sight of the lily tattoo on her wrist and notice there's a little date underneath it. In fact, I'd say you were both a good talker and a good listener, and that's a great mix. "Kat, you said lilies are your mum's favourite flower. Does your mum live in Eden too?" I ask. Condensation has built on the inside of the car window, and I turn to it and draw a tiny heart. The water runs down from the point like a tear running down a cheek. "I suppose she does. I'm very happy to talk about Mum now, but it wasn't always that way," explains Kat, stopping at some traffic lights. As we wait for them to turn green, she faces me. "You see, my Nana, the lady you've just met, brought me up because I lost my mum when I was 13. I gulp. "You lost your mum too?" "Yes, sadly, I lost her when I wasn't much older than you. It was my inheritance from Mum that meant I could open my own hair salon. Don't look so surprised," says Kat, driving on again as the lights turn. "You're not the only person in the world that it's happened to, even if you feel that way. There are lots of us about. You just can't tell by looking at us, because we're normal. Maybe if we were wearing a sign it would help. But," I hesitate. Then the words tumble out. "I feel different to everyone else." Kat takes the first exit at the roundabout. "That's okay," she says. "We all feel like that about something. But there's always someone who has gone through the same thing." She turns right and then turns left and then pulls up at a cemetery. "It's locked," I point out. They don't open at night. You're right, says Cat. But I stopped here because I wanted to tell you that my mum is buried in there. However, I didn't bring you here to make you sad. Don't be. I brought you here to say my mum's not really in there, not really. Where is she then? I feel my throat burn and my stomach does a little somersault inside my ribcage. Cat leans over and points at my drawing on the window. You already know where she is. She's in my heart, just like your mum is in yours. I stare at my hastily scribbled heart on the window, and I know what Cat is saying. She pauses and lets it sink in before adding, I know it's hard to grow up without your mum. I don't want to grow up without her. Cat touches my shoulder, and her hand feels warm and comforting. Even if you don't want it, growing up will happen no matter what. Cat starts the car engine again, and I ask her if she'll do something for me and stop by the ocean for a few minutes. Even if it's dark and I can't see anything, I don't care. I just want to be there, I tell her. Cat promises, and 10 minutes later she pulls the car up by the edge of the road overlooking the sea. I miss my mum, I say, looking out across the ocean. Dad told me he'd scattered her ashes on the sea. I didn't go because I was too young. Dad said it was sad letting go, but then a gust of wind came and carried Mum off to the sea. Well, most of her. Dad said a tiny bit of Mum flew backwards and landed on him. Oh. It's okay. Dad said he thought it was Mum's way of saying a tiny bit of her would always be with him. I'm sad I couldn't be there with Dad. Here I am talking about Mum. Stranger still, I'm talking about Mum with Cat, and somehow it feels right, and Cat understands what I mean. I could never have done this with Pearl, even though I always thought she was easy to talk to. I know it's hard for those left behind, replies Cat quietly. She presses a button on the window, and the window glides down. A gust of sea air fills the car, and when I lick my lips, I taste the tang of salt. When I ask Cat if she had the chance to say goodbye to her mum, she says, would it make it better for you if I did? Would it make you feel better if I didn't? No, don't think it would. And that's why you have to find your own way, Beckett. My story is the same as yours, but different. At least your Nana lives nearby, I offer. Sometimes she doesn't know who I am anymore, says Cat, and it feels like I'm losing my mother all over again, only this time more slowly. But there's one thing I know for certain, and that is I've been very lucky, and no matter what happens in the future, I'm going to carry the people I lost with me forever. Staring out at the sea again, I say, one day I'm going to say a proper goodbye to my mum. I've been trying. I got the goodbye list, and I've written all these ways to say goodbye, but the trouble is none of them have been any good. Cat nods and says, there's nothing wrong with me writing things down if it helps me. She starts the car again and drives towards the flats. I just don't know how to do it, I added. Yet, points out Cat. You just don't know how to do it yet. That's it for today.